All right, welcome to the School of Bitcoin. A little bit to get through today. Apologies for the, the sign-in issues, guys. Thanks for joining us, Virginia. I know you've been trying to get in a couple of times, and we were not like allowing people in or whatever. So yeah, apologies again for that as well.
No worries.
Had a really cool update, and this is a Stacks update as well, which we'll probably share tonight. But basically, we've got this event coming up. Karen, hopefully you can make it down to Frankston in Chisholm for this one. But been talking with Andrew, the organizer, and basically it's a massive games event that they do sort of once a year. And they've got all different, it sounds amazing. They've got all different like tech companies involved. They do gaming, esports. They do like cosplay stuff as well. So it sounds kind of like PAX or something. But they get all these kids coming in for this holiday program. Totally free for the kids to come. And then they have a lot of sponsors kind of flipping the bill for stuff, and Chisholm flips the bill for the space. But I had a chat with him. So I'm going to do a prez, which will be about School of Bitcoin and Stacks community and NFTs. I thought would be really interesting to sort of dive into for them specifically, and then a workshop. So with the workshop, potentially what I'm thinking is just giving all the kids some Stacks tokens and then running through how to buy some cheap NFTs or even mint them themselves. I think that'd be really fun, and I think it would resonate with a lot of the kids going to the event. But it should be really fun, and I reckon there's going to be a lot to sort of come out of that. And sort of the end goal, I'm thinking you might have some advice for this, Virginia. Sort of pointing them towards doing a code camp. So sort of setting that up and having what I'm kind of thinking is they've got graduates from Chisholm as well that are all like have a coding background and cybersecurity. Picking some of them to be the sort of ambassadors for the program, or even helping run some events, and then students from this program actually kind of attending that. So that's kind of my end goal for that. But yeah, have you got any advice on sort of running, because I know you've run a couple of code camps now, but what's your thinking to sort of kick one off?
Are you, I guess one question would be, is this camp all in person, or is it going to be online?
In person, yeah.
In person, yeah, great. I mean, I would say, probably starting, including some really practical, like lab type of work really early on. So I know I even got this from like some of our adult students for this past camp, where it's like the beginning part where you're like learning about types and like, I don't know, it can get really like just super, I don't want to say boring, but it's like, it's hard to see like the application or how those pieces fit together. And so I think like things like Code Academy, right? Like part of the reason they became popular is because they are just popping you in immediately and saying, we're going to tinker with this, right? We're going to you're going to try this out. It's going to be a super quick little lab. You're going to feel like you've accomplished something. So I would just say like including that, especially towards the beginning, where it tends to not naturally be, if you're following like, here's our like PowerPoint or whatever with all the different, it's great stuff, but helping especially kids to just immediately feel like within the first like 30-45 minutes of instruction that they have been able to code something, right? Even if it's like 2 lines, they've been able to code something, I think is a great hook. Yeah.
That's what I really loved with Solidity. I probably mentioned before that crypto zombies. So we used to use that at school, and it would like, as you're learning Solidity, you're like killing zombies sort of thing. So I thought that was a good way to it's a good hook for them for sure. Be cool if we had something like that for Clarity. I think that might be something we should maybe even approach the to get some funding for at some stage. But yeah, so anyway, that's kind of my goal. I think on the other cool thing, actually, Virginia, you might know this as well. With the event, they actually live stream it on Twitch as well, so you can watch it. But they have room for advertising. So I was thinking, oh, cool. So they do that for the vendors. But yeah, Andrew said we could potentially do some Stacks advertising as well. I've reached out to Adam to see if we have any ads that we can run for Stacks. Have you heard of anything?
I haven't heard of anything, no. Honestly, I feel like that's one thing that like the Stacks Foundation tends to kind of like lack on. I don't feel like they generally like incorporate probably enough like graphics or things like that on social media. Like I've just sort of
Yeah.
noticed that. And I mean, I know they have some decent designers, although they kind of went through a transition, I know in like May, where they were looking for a designer and they were having a hard time finding one. So maybe that's part of the issue. I'm not sure how that got resolved, but yeah, I mean, hopefully, I know Adam was on a trip and just got back, so hopefully he can get
Hopefully
you
that's
something.
well,
Yeah.
we'll find out. I've emailed him anyway, so we can find out for the meeting tonight anyway. So that was that. So that's the event coming up. So I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah,
Very
Karen, you'll
exciting.
have to come down to that one. I reckon it'll be
Yeah,
a
look,
lot of fun.
look, I won't be able to be there for the whole day, but I'll come for whatever I can.
Cool. Yeah.
Be great.
Yeah,
So
Kieran, we're it's something that we're working on up here. That's like could be a great template for us. I've got
Yeah.
the Gladstone STEM hub and part of Startup Gladstone. I've also got the Queensland Computers guy from down in Bundaberg. So right through our region here, and they're all talking about esports and gaming.
Yeah.
So I'll have to have a good look at that and see how it runs, because we've got one proposed for later in the year. It'd be like a weekend event, I was thinking, like a Saturday.
It sounds pretty amazing, to be honest.
Sounds pretty cool, the cosplay. I know.
Well, and like they do, so I think they incorporate Warhammer stuff somehow. It's like painting. So it sounds like it's a bit of everything. But I think as long as it matches up to esports and gaming in some way, like along the way, 3D printing, like they're doing everything from the sounds of it. So yeah, and when I mentioned NFTs, I think that definitely resonated. So yeah, yeah, I'll document as much as I can. And like I said, there's a live stream on Twitch, so we'll be able to you guys will be able to hook in and watch that as well. So
yeah,
cool.
one initiative I'm kicking off this week is I've just put a chat in the link there. You might want to bring that up on the screen. It's for gaming. But it's about, looking at different ways of getting the kids involved. So it's fun, gaming. They can look to create NFTs. I hadn't been able to find. I need to dive in today to find out about some cool Stacks blockchain games.
Yeah.
I've used the Illuvium picture there, because that's pretty much the hottest game in that's coming on as in a AAA rated game.
Yeah.
That runs on Immutable X, so it's like a first layer of Ethereum. But yeah, I've got this whole program designed about how they can come in. So yeah, they want to learn to game, but they've got to go through a process of learning something like Unity, Blender. They've got to pick something, or they can code if they want to learn coding. And then I think with the NFTs, it's pretty cool to get them in to go, right from day one, we'll be doing digital wallets. So we'll start out with Stacks wallets.
Yep.
And yeah, just to get them in the process. So it's like creating that pipeline. And then once they get into, I've got one kid here that's doing Unity and he's super keen to learn how to code the NFTs.
Nice.
So he's going to have to dive in and learn Clarity. So pretty good pipeline.
Very, very cool. That's awesome, Gordon.
The other thing I thought too with the kids, Kieran, is I've got the Minecrafters and how to bring Stacks, like what you guys were doing at school with the finding the seed words.
Yep.
In Minecraft, I've got a bunch of Minecrafters here. They're just super keen, and they're all ages up to like 15.
Awesome.
But I want to get a build project going, like in a server.
Yep.
But incorporate it. So from day one, they're getting digital wallets and get some Stacks.
Definitely.
Find some seed words. So I need to have a chat.
Why don't we build a Stacks server specifically?
A Minecraft server?
Yeah.
That'd be.
I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great idea.
Because I mean, I've got one of the kids in town here. He's 24 now, and he works full time in esports.
Yeah.
Like his girlfriend's a competitor, and he runs communities for one of the driving game things. So they do that full time, and I've asked them to come down. They're Minecrafters and everything. They're still 24. So I think there's a whole group here. But then how to get them interested in smart contracts, and then how to get interested in in-game assets. because they've already been around coding. I think it's like could be a pretty cool thing. We've got
Hell yeah.
Bitcoin. We can
Let's
have
do it.
Bitcoin in there.
Yeah,
Right.
let's do it. Let's make a stack server. I'll speak to Tom. So Tom was the one who sort of built most of the structure for our Rana server. But to fill you in, Virginia, we had like a Minecraft server that had it was a 24/7 learning space. And we had, I think, about 16 different countries like hosted on our server from our school. And it was amazing projects. These kids were doing like these massive worlds. It'd be cool to like resurrect that server.
I'd be happy to drive that. That could be a global project for Stacks.
Hell
to
yeah.
bring kids in. They can do treasure hunts. They can do all sorts of things. There could be prizes.
We could kick it off, Gordon, with a Stacks seed phrase hunt. So we can do that sort of as a monthly thing. So basically, Virginia, we used to do like for BTC, just using Electrum. So 12-word seed, have those words like around the server, and the kids would go and find them like with the numbers next to them, so they're not sort of guessing what order they're in.
Did you just have them on signs? Like,
yeah.
like
So we started with signs, and then we got really creative, and then so we had like words that you can only see from the sky, like down on the ground. Like it was amazing.
So this is actually like right up my alley. Both my husband and I, because we've been hiding Bitcoin in games like since 2016.
Nice.
Like No Man's Sky and Minecraft. Like we're trying to launch some gaming like Bitcoin, Minecraft gaming back in the day, but it wasn't the right time for it. We never got off the ground. So I would love to pull my husband John into whether it's the server or whatever. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
This is a goer. This is a goer.
100%.
That's because then what it does, it introduces kids but if you're talking about doing NFTs and stuff, parents have sort of pretty much everyone knows that NFTs are cool now. They're not even thinking it's about crypto. And it's a good way. And then if the kids, you've got to get the approval of the parents. Well, I think it's sort of just cool to say, hey, we're doing this. And then it brings the parents in as well. You got not only the kids, but you're getting the coders and a lot of the parents. I mean, there's a bunch of parents that are coders out there, and they might go, hey, I want to learn how to do my own NFTs. Next thing, they're learning Clarity. So I think it's good.
There was a cool tool that we used as well, where the kids actually created artwork and then imported it into pixel artwork, like in world. I forget what it was, but it was awesome. So the kids could like literally draw something, take a photo of it, and then we'd import it like in world. We could do something similar with NFTs specifically. So have them all like creating, and then have like an art gallery. Because we had an art gallery in world, but why don't we make it like an NFT art gallery for Stacks as well? That'd be awesome. All right, let's get onto it. Let's ask Adam tonight if there's resources or a server that we could use somewhere and make it like a global project. I think that'd be really, really fun.
Yeah, I've got the so this is the other event that I'm kicking off today with our kids. I'm not organized, but it's just the Minecraft Mania one. So I haven't even got a server. I thought we're gonna get them in and we'll find out where to create a server, but I wouldn't mind some professional help.
Hell yeah. Oh, how cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
all right. Let's get onto it ASAP.
Sorry to derail that one, but gaming.
No.
Think about it. There's 3.5 billion gamers. It's our quickest way to get. Gamers are a bit suspicious about. Well, there's a couple of issues. Gamers, I've heard, are pretty. There's a bit of a trend. They're green, so Bitcoin's not their thing.
Yep.
They're sort of looking for greener blockchain. So we've got to maybe. They're quite vocal about it, actually. So it is something we'll have to do some education on about Bitcoin mining and how it could be good for the environment.
Yeah.
Because we're competing against like Algorand, who are the super green chain.
Yeah.
Which is
Well, I mean, yeah, you could argue Stacks is pretty green as well, like proof of transfer, right? Like
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, yeah, very
green altogether, because don't have to mine new minerals for coins or use paper for notes or things like that. It's very green in that respect.
Definitely.
sources.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I did see a thing on the amount of carbon output for fiat currency. Someone did like the metrics on it, and it's like ridiculous. That and gold, like gold mining is like nuts. Like it just destroys everything, and the energy output's just insane. So BTC is like this in comparison, and it's like majoritively green. So yeah, things like stacks built on top of that, like it's all green pretty much. So that's an awesome idea, Gordon. Let's action that like ASAP. Right.
Thank you. That'd be awesome. I did reach out to Tom. He did say he's just could only help us on a consultant's basis now.
Yeah.
So I might let you have a chat with him and see where that goes.
Well,
And Virginia, if John, I mean, if he's built Minecraft servers, just give me the directions. I'll get it paid for and booked up. I just don't know which one to pick and don't know where to start because I'm not a Minecrafter.
Yeah, well, actually, there's twofold. So I don't know if you know the history, but basically, Minecraft was bought out by Microsoft, and Microsoft it was a really cool EDU version that was run on the Java edition. Had all these tools, and you could run mods and all the rest of it. Microsoft purchased them and made this bastardized version and called it the Education Edition. Stripped out all the learning tools. You can't run mods, and you need to use your like Microsoft login credentials to get into it. It was a nightmare. So I'd argue let's not use the Microsoft version at all. Let's stick with
awesome
the Java edition.
Oh, so Tom can help us with that, because that's my problem with my homeschoolers and everyone here is they've all got to pay the $38 to get a Minecraft account.
Nah.
And it's sort of I'm stuck. So we got kids here who haven't got any money, you know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that offline, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, no, there's definitely ways around that. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to do, last week we had a really cool meeting with Jacques, and he's put together this amazing course. Hang on, let me bring this up. And I wanted like us to do it as a community at some point, so sort of we can get everyone together. I run through this, but basically it's you can go back and watch the video because it'll articulate it better than me. But basically it's how to get to the crux of your vocation. So like what you as an individual want to pursue, and there's a whole GitHub repo that you can fork, and he's got like visuals that you can run through as well as a team or as an individual. But the other thing you can do is run through it as a team. So I thought for the School of Bitcoin, it'd be cool to get all of our input and all of our different ideas together into this, like as a bit of an event. I think like it's because he's put a lot of work into it, and I love the way he thinks. Actually, Virginia, if you haven't met Jacques, he's from the Stacks. I met him through the Stacks Discord, like start of the year sort of thing. So he's a big Stacks guy as well. He's based out of Chicago. But yeah, he's done some amazing work. And I think if we could find a time to get as many people together as possible, but I'm thinking creating an event around it. So whether that's like in the same style as our Bitcoin meetups, like Bitcoin Australia meetups, like so we get a big input from a large group of people, or and this is my question: do we kind of open it up to the broader community like that, or do we keep it to the sort of EDU community? So like all of us, but also invite like say Peter Hutton, for example, and keep it to sort of education focus for the School of Bitcoin. And obviously Jill and well, Jacques, obviously, because he's been involved from the start. But what do you reckon? Do we make it a bigger event with more people involved, or do we keep it to sort of the core team? Or whatever.
How about initially keeping it to the core team and just see how it evolves and what happens and how people respond and things like that. And then there's more information to base decisions of what to next.
Yep. All right, we could do that. I think if we can make it well, I think we got 25 people on the mailing list for this. I don't know if you're on there, Virginia, but I can add you. And yeah, I think if we can get all like the majority of those people involved, that would be really beneficial, because I think running through this, it really gives you like an example of like it's like at Warana Park how we had the raison d'etre for the school. So like always going back to the raison d'etre, the reason for being. This is like a Web3 version of that. So like, how do you do this, but in a sense that's important to individuals or to anyone else, but then sort of moving into a DAO type situation or a decentralized autonomous organization, having that raison d'etre or vocation journey, I think is really important. So I'll send out some emails about it, and then we can find some times where we can make it accessible to everybody, I think.
So the outcome of that could be as in, you know, what is the person's passion and where and what skill they can bring and what they want to work on within the School of Bitcoin and Stacks.
Exactly right. So yeah, it's individual based and then community, like the broader community as well, and it's kind of what are we working towards as a community. And I love it. I think it's great in terms of including it as part of the days as well. So the decentralized autonomous education system, having that in there is really important as well, I think. So yes, the financial literacy, but also you know, kind of what do you want to work on, because it's kind of what we've been working towards already. So like that you know, problem-based learning, project-based learning piece, but it's articulated really well. I think I'm going to go through it on my own just to start with, just to see what the outcome is. We could all probably do that, but then I think doing it as a group is going to be really cool as well. So the other piece of news I had, and this is the last thing I had, was I did some consulting for Digital Playhouse. This is pretty awesome, Gordon. You're going to be pretty blown away. So for Chisholm specifically, so I got an email through. So at the moment I'm doing my TAE, so I can learn how to actually write accredited curriculum, but Bavita reached out to me and asked me if I could be an advisor for the certification 3 in IT or ICT. And I learned a lot. So I learned a lot from how the organizations work sort of from the ground up. So all my suggestions were open source tech. So it sounds like they're going to incorporate a lot of them, which is pretty cool. So obviously like using Raspberry Pis, Citadel specifically, I thought it's a really cool open source piece of tech that you know, you can get spinning up pretty quickly and you can learn a lot from that. GitHub, because like nobody's really teaching GitHub specifically. I thought that's really important. And Bootstrap, so for web development, so like websites that we have for, say, School of Bitcoin or the Stacks Australia, they're all Bootstrap websites, and I think that's the students at Warana going through that really got a lot out of it. Like Maheen in particular, she's really proficient now at building Bootstrap websites, and she's actually getting paid for it, which is amazing for a 13-year-old to be building her own websites, starting her own business. So that'll be really important for them to learn. Networking, sort of moving towards away from Cisco and towards like Ubiquity networks, Python, obviously, blockchain and decentralized technologies, and Linux, so open source technologies. And I thought obviously Bitcoin, blockchain, IPFS, SHA-256 encryption, and Lightning Network. And then that was sort of for the future crazy ideas. And then my overarching ideas were basically like use of GitHub, students taking ownership and responsibility, one of their learning, but also of the network and stuff that they're developing. And then experiencing like real world environments. So creating your own network, like we did at Warana at the school, the kids were in their own smart network, and then building all cool stuff off that. So anyway, so that was the crux of it. But what I learned, and this is really interesting, and so yeah, we've got Digital Playhouse officially on that document, Gordon, which is pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, but what I learned, and this is fascinating, the big players, so Cisco, Microsoft, AWS, it's another big one. Huawei, which is one of the companies that's embedded themselves. what they do, and this is what I didn't understand. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you be learning Linux like from the get-go, right? Like why is everything sort of pushed towards Microsoft, and that's the be all and end all of tech? Because like me going through my diploma and my degree, it was all kind of forced like through these vendors. And I got into the real world. I'm like, hang on, I've learned Cisco, and I'm going into, when I worked for Catholic Ed, it was all HP networks. So I kind of had to unlearn everything and start from scratch. I was like, why didn't we learn any of this stuff? But what happens is they basically map the curriculum. So there's a mapping tool, and these big players come in and go, oh yes, all of our technologies map to this. So it's not specifically saying like in the documentation that you have to use like these tech, but these big players come in and map it. So that's why you don't have any of the open source technologies involved with the curriculum from the ground up. I was really blown away. I was like, oh wow, like the penny kind of dropped like going through that. I had a suspicion obviously, but it's it's really, really prevalent. So anyway, my recommendations for that were all open source tech from the ground up, and I think it's super, super important. But yeah, so I was really excited about that and happy to share with you. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had for today. I know we've got our meeting tonight, but I think the next thing we need to action is definitely this Minecraft server. Eh? Let's get that rocking ASAP. I'll reach out to Tom. Have you got anyone, Virginia, that we could hit up for like a server or to kick things off?
I probably don't know anyone who could just straight up build it in terms of the server itself. But definitely I know people that would be willing to kind of jump in terms of just like helping out with stuff once it's going. So
Okay, cool. All right, I'll work on getting it.
It's probably yeah, I mean, for me, it'd be, from what I can see, it's identifying the parameters of the server that it'd be built on. I'd certainly think, yeah, if Tom's a consultant and as well, if we need to pay him, I want to get it right. Because he obviously built it to be a large scale server.
Yeah.
And what would be required? I mean, obviously we'd have to use a cloud host, I think. Or we've got a server here, but it's only running one server for one Minecraft. We tried to load up two, and it's not cutting it. Two of our girls are building a game for about 20 kids to go in and have. It's like a obstacle course. They've been building it for about 6 months.
Awesome. All right, well, I'll hit him up and see what we can get going. I think the sooner the better, but we can bring it up tonight, I think, if we can speak to Adam about that. Are you joining tonight, Gordon?
Yeah, sure, I will.
Cool.
I also did a bit of research. Well, I've got to do a bit more research in this digital literacy license. I mentioned it the other day, and I saw something in one of my, not mainstream chats about some agenda about, about, I'm not sure if it's this license course. There's a digital literacy license course for Australia for teachers and students. And I was reading, I need to do a bit of background work anyway as to who's actually funding it, who's behind it. It might be like a pretty big global project which is being rolled out, which will basically, bring you all the students in line with the new digital identity system for the globe rather than self-sovereign identities. So they are, it looks like there's quite an organized, proficient machine rolling out to get all these kids into the digital system.
Yeah.
With digital IDs. I'd have to pull up a post and we'll do a bit of research on it this week. So I think on our end, we need to look at really accelerating the decentralized digital identity systems and bring it into our learning as fast as we can as well, which is what we're all sort of working on. But they're I guess the mainstream system to go into central bank digital currencies and into social crediting and the likes. I mean, they've got the foundations are all being laid quite rapidly.
Yeah.
And it's like us creating a pipeline for entrepreneurs and pipeline for Clarity coders. You know, we've got our own pipeline going. But yeah, having those tools like you were doing at Warana Park Primary School, I think is a really important thing
Definitely.
for us to really be accelerating. So not just right at at the coalface right now, about getting devs and getting people using Clarity and building dApps and the likes. We've really got to work on this pipeline as well.
Yeah,
Otherwise, there won't be the centralized system will just dominate.
yeah.
So I think we need both.
It looks like they might be based in Queensland, Gordon.
Yeah, so I think behind it, I got some details on them. It was huge, extensive, the course. It was like, wow, I don't even want to attempt to do it. And I don't want one of their digital licenses anyway, but it looked like it might be something they're trialing as to rolling out, that you sort of have to have one. But I think if we looked into it in this blog, in this copy that I read, it sort of came back to that, well, maybe it's the start of the digital identity system for kids.
Yeah.
Could be for sure. Yeah, definitely.
So I'll do a bit of research on that and report to us next week on it.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Cool as. All right, we might leave it there then. Thanks for joining, everyone, and I'll see everyone again tonight, I suppose, for the other meeting.
Funny after looking at that. Just showing how old I am, but it's okay. A digital literacy license. Well, I remember several decades ago, when children were in about grade 3, they could maybe get a pen license.
Pen license, yeah.
Using crayons and pencils, if their writing was, they could get a pen license.
I remember that. Gosh.
Big jump, isn't it? To
Well,
I mean, it's important one skill to build, but
Oh, sorry, Karen. Did you want to mention the Menzies project as well? Because that's really cool.
sure. And the Menzies Foundation has now an emerging leaders program for young people aged between 15 or 17 who would like to explore more about what leadership is, how we can learn more about it, and develop their own skills, and also things that they're working on they think are important, but really in a broader frame. And partners with the Menzies Foundation for this project are the Ethics Centre in Sydney, the Ethics Centre, which is really important because when you look at leadership today, where does ethical leadership come into it? And what are values and why are they important? And another partner is AIM. Now, it's a mentoring organisation for Indigenous students, and they're very active in doing so many wonderful things. So working together with the Menzies Foundation, the young kids to have a chance to really explore these topics in different ways. Our applications are open now, and they'll probably close fairly soon. So definitely worth looking into.
I tweeted that out yesterday as well. So yeah, that's definitely. I like the format too. Like, it's something that we could probably replicate to a certain degree, I think, for the School of Bitcoin, with the Lightning payments for learners. I think that's really cool.
And
awesome.
For applicants to apply with a mini video of the theme is power, a mini video on what does power mean to you? What is power? I mean, that in itself is a really, really powerful provocation.
It is. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Very cool. Well, we might leave it there then, guys. And I'll see everybody tonight with and I'll pursue some Minecraft stuff in the meantime.
I've got hopefully I've got Jimmy, one of the boys in town, coming in today, so we'll have a chat as well. So yeah, let's work. This is fantastic. Thanks heaps, guys. Virginia, so much, so grateful to have you here.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Great to join.
See you guys.
See ya.
All right. Bye.